Alright, this is for Module 12. The first question asks us to explain like internet safety and how it's relevant and what we are as educators supposed to do. So the big thing that we're going to be doing as educators for internet safety is really teaching them kind of like the scams that are out there, the bad websites, and really our job specifically is to kind of not hide them, but kind of prepare them, because they're going to come in contact with them, so they need to know what they're looking for, how to avoid those sites, and if they do happen to come across something that they're not supposed to be on or that they didn't mean to do, how they can go about fixing the issue. And that's really important for educators because, especially my generation, where our curriculum is more internet based, and so since so many kids are going to be constantly online because of where our curriculum is gearing them towards, they're going to need to know how to avoid those situations. How I plan to teach it in my classroom is really, so I want to be special education. The more advanced students, I'm going to really teach them like how to avoid them, what they should not be getting on, kind of how you're going to teach every other student. For the students that are more like middle level development, I'm going to teach them more what to avoid, or what common scams that they can see when they're on a website and what not to click on. Because a lot of times I have found with individuals that I've worked with, a lot of times they'll just see something, ooh, like that's pretty, or that's pretty, or they'll get like the thing like, oh, you want $100 Amazon card, and they just click on it because they don't really know what it is because they've never been taught. But once you like really sit down with them and explain, like, okay, don't click on this, and you go through the steps why, and it usually takes a few times, honestly. They can kind of then be trained, like, okay, don't click on that, or if you have a question, come ask someone. For the lower developmental students, I kind of just gonna honestly, we have to really monitor them, and we have to use the parent safety. Question 2 was about if we liked the website, and it's, sorry, I don't have usually I have my questions printed out, and if we thought it was a good training module on the Next Smart, and if it was useful to like every curriculum. I thought the training was good. I liked how it made you sit through it and listen. I don't know if I'm the only one guilty of this, but a lot of times when they're just talking, I want to like just skip through and get to the quiz. But I like that they really made me sit down and like listen to it so I could get the most training out of it possible. I do think it applies to all curriculum, which I was really grateful for, because a lot of the websites I have at least experienced through this course, a lot of times they're not geared towards what my emphasis is, and that has been kind of frustrating because I'm like, well, how am I supposed to do this? So I really appreciate that this site was kind of more like just an umbrella, and it really breaks it down like how you can do it, no matter if you're teaching kindergarten, special education, high school, you can do it. And then the third question was for us to kind of talk about the main points of the article that we were supposed to read. So the article focused, from what I found, were the 3 main points. 2 of them were like the dangers that have to do with online, and the third one's kind of like preventative measures. So the first one was focusing on cyberbullying and how it's so prevalent nowadays, how it can happen, what are the warning signs for it, how we can combat it. And I really appreciate that article because you see it all the time. I grew up in the middle of it, so it was really nice to like see the warning signs, because at least when I was in high school, I didn't see the warning signs. The only times I was ever made aware of it was either when it was happening to me, or I heard after the fact that it had happened to one of my friends. So kind of knowing the warning signs and what I can do to kind of cut it off before it actually happens was really nice. The second one was sexual content, and this one, I appreciate that the article touched on it, and it kind of talked about like what it is and how we can go about fixing it. However, I'm personally still combating it if it just pops up randomly and I don't know how to. I have all the measures you can get to kind of protect your computer, but it still finds its way on. So unfortunately, I don't think there is a solution yet to it, even though the article kind of has kind of a solution, not really though. But I think that's because there is no solution. We don't have a solution yet to it. They're tricky little buggers who create those sites. And then for the preventative measure, the main thing that they all focus on is just being attentive. As teachers, as parents, as peers, we all just need to be more attentive and aware of what's going on and kind of hold each other accountable to make sure that these things don't happen to our students.